Hi, I'm the Game Design Dad. Let's talk about verbs. Games are different from other types of entertainment because in games you can do things. You're not just watching or listening. Everything in a game is based on the actions the player can take, and I call those verbs. The best verbs for your game are the verbs people already understand. And humans love to move. We are naturally set up for navigating 3D spaces to reach goals and avoid hazards. Throughout human history, countless hours of leisure time have been spent hiking and climbing and driving and racing, so it only makes sense that people would be attracted to games built around verbs like these. Take advantage of this intuitive understanding by building your game in ways that match how humans naturally move. Add a few touches that match how humans want to move to make it even more appealing. If movement is the most popular verb, attack is a close second. Once a player is wandering around an environment, they want to be able to manipulate and change that environment. Combat is a simple and intuitive way to do that, with a nice sprinkle of power fantasy on top. Other ways to manipulate the world exist. Cooking or building or stacking things on top of other things, but punching things in the face or shooting them is easy to initiate and has a very obvious and clear visual impact on the world. Why give players subtle controls when they love an immediate impact? It does tend to force games into certain antisocial perspectives on the world, since players can only interact with the world using the verbs the game provides. If the only button you give a player is punch, the solution to every problem becomes punching. When a game is about economic systems rather than driving an avatar around, the verbs change. Many board games focus on the player selecting things in a purchase system rather than punching them. As much as humans love to punch things, they also love to buy things. The acquisition of stuff is a proven winner across human history, and there's no reason to avoid it in your game designs. Whether it's adding a loot system to a game that already has move and attack verbs, or building a whole game around buying houses or upgrades or clothes or trains, buying things makes people happy. So make them happy. Just don't forget to make that purchase decision interesting with lots of pros and cons for every choice. Once the player has bought something, they often need to think about where to put it. Whole games can be built around just this choice. If the rules and systems about the difference between one placement and the next are interesting enough, the player can be very engrossed in optimizing and customizing every little thing they place. SimCity, Rebuild, Carcassonne, and many more games are largely about optimizing placement, either with or without a buy phase. This is a verb that relies on layers of underlying complexity. The act of placement is usually not very fun on its own. There's not a lot of juice to dropping down a city block or a train. So the game has to make it exciting by the effect it has in the rules and the ripples it has in the game systems. I'm excited when I can get a new farm up and running to keep my survivors from starving and rebuild. Not because the farm itself is fun to place, but because the systems have set up that meaning. There's a subtler verb at play in a lot of puzzle games. They don't rely on direct actions like move or shoot or economic actions like buy or place. They rely on subtler things that players need to deduce through deeper understanding of a system. These actions can vary a lot based on the specifics of the game, but often the underlying idea is that you're transforming something in the world or in the player's inventory into something else. Once the object is transformed, then it can be used to solve the puzzle. Understanding when that transformation is possible is the puzzle idea that the player needs to understand and then notice in order to move forward. These are just a few examples of the types of verbs you might want for your game. Every game is different, and selecting the right verbs is an important early choice that sets the tone for the rest of your game. Don't feel constrained by what has come before. These are just a few examples. You can always make up new types of verbs to create new types of games. Be true to your game.